Hi, my name's Sarah McLean. I'm happy to be meditating with you today. I was just on a trip and I got back and I was reading a friend's email and he kept saying how sad he was. And he kept trying to make this sadness go away. And I know I've done the same thing. Many of us believe that if you're spiritual and if you're meditating, you shouldn't have what maybe you would deem the unpleasant emotions of anger or hatred or disturbance or frustration or sadness or regret or shame or any of that. And the truth is that emotions come and they go. I was reading a study recently where it said that people remember their negative emotions more readily than they remember their positive ones. Even though they last the same amount of time, the negative emotions are more memorable. We can have just as many memorable negative emotions as we do positive ones, but it seems that the negative outweighs. For some reason, I think it must be survival, that if we're afraid or if we're fearful and angry, we as a species probably learn to avoid that situation, and so we remember it. But that is not quite as necessary maybe these days. Anyway, back to my friend. So he's writing about how he's sad and how he was trying to figure out ways to make it go away. So I wrote back to him, feel it. Feel your feelings. They have a beginning, middle, and end. I spent many, many years trying to avoid feeling the deep sadness or deep grief, and I would do just about anything not to feel it. And sometimes it just takes over, whether it takes over your body or whether it takes over your mind. It will be felt. It will be felt. You can't get away from it. And like I said, many spiritual people believe you shouldn't feel certain, spectrums of certain emotions on certain spectrums there. Now, I put on a big bumper sticker on my car when I moved to the Zen Buddhist monastery. And it said, "It's all good. It's all good." Now, in the big sense, it is all good. There must be some wise or some wisdom that is maybe orchestrating the whole unfolding of creation. And I do have a sense that that's true. But it doesn't mean it's all good if you have cancer. It doesn't mean it's all good if you have a broken heart or if you lose your job or you bounce a check. I mean, to skip over the feelings that arise in our relationship with life itself is to deny or ignore parts of our whole experience. And, the word ignorance comes from ignoring. Now, what I love about meditation is it really helps us to be present or bear witness to our experience in the seated position. But what it really is a training for our lives. It's a training so that when these emotions come that we're not so fond of, when they arise, we don't run away from them. Instead, we move toward them. We move towards sadness and allow it to live its life for 5 minutes or for a day or whatever it takes a week. We allow it. We don't resist it because, as you've heard, whatever you resist persists. And undigested experiences and undigested emotions and undigested expressions tend to fester in the body, whether it's the subtle body, the emotional body, the mental body, or the nervous system itself. So meditation helps you to become at least less afraid of what's going on in there. What goes on when you close your eyes? I was asking a few of our students what they meditate, why they meditate, and I was at a group meditation, and here's what they say. "I don't get so triggered anymore because of meditation. I feel more responsive rather than reactive. That is due to bearing witness to whatever arises, whether it's a physical pain that used to maybe send you into a whole story about how you need this or that to change that. A physical pain is simply a physical pain. And And when we're sitting in meditation and we interrupt the story and instead experience the sensation, we get to become more intimate with that. Same with bliss. When we drop the story and experience pleasure or joy or bliss, we get to become more intimate with it. It's a direct experience. Here's another one. I feel a sense of equanimity in almost every situation. Again, that's due to being able to stay present to whatever arises and not take it personally, not get into other people's business, and instead just to be a loving presence to whatever arises. Now, without the "it's all good" bumper sticker, you actually get to feel your feelings while things arise, but you get to really establish this ability to stay present, and whether it's something that's delightful or not so delightful. Here's another one. I have more trust that everything is unfolding perfectly and faith that life is good. I think that comes from experience, that we look back on what we maybe thought as not working so well for us or a big obstacle in our life, and we become grateful for it with that 2020 vision. I'm going to read a few more and then we'll move into meditation. I am much less anxious and feel calm and centered. Anxiety quite often is triggered by our attention being in the future. And sometimes it's just so prevalent, that thought pattern, that anxiety becomes the constant companion. With meditation, anxiety does arise. It arises for many people when they close their eyes. Sometimes it arises because the breath changes, or they just get afraid because they're not sure they're safe. And so if we can bear witness to the emotions as they arise in meditation, rather than what we think they're the source of them could be, or whether we think we should do something about them, just to be with them like a wave in the ocean. So anxiety may arise, but it doesn't lead to more anxiety when you're in meditation if you stay present with it instead of trying to run away from it. Let's see one more. Here it goes. I can be more present in each moment. I worry less about the future and how everything is going to turn out. I think I have more faith in the goodness of life. Nice. Nice. And here's a few more, and then we'll go. I wake up every morning feeling loved. How about that? Or I sleep much better and am alert all day. Well, I can tell you that all of those can be true, and I hope you've experienced some of those from your meditation practice. Today I thought we could do the simple Zazen practice of counting breaths. No, it's not glamorous, and no, it is not thrilling. And I always say meditation is a little bit boring, but the benefits are certainly not. So the practice here, and you know the 5 essentials. The 5 essentials are that you'll always have thoughts that are not necessarily the counting or the mantra or whatever it is you're focused on in your meditation, and it's not a bad thing. Thoughts just indicate your mind is moving, and it's the nature of the mind to move with thoughts. Quite often, the movement in meditation is a result of the stress being released. So if you're restless and bored, it's probably a good thing. But your only job is to come back to the focus of your meditation. Now we'll be counting to 10. We'll be counting our breaths up to 10. Your job is to stay focused on the numbers. A gentle attention. That's another essential, is to not to try too hard, but instead to use a gentle attention. Not necessarily any effort, not any concentrated effort, but just a gentle effort. It's the effortless effort. And so we'll be counting to 10, and every time your attention drifts away, maybe you're on number 4, to some other story, you come back without beating yourself up, without any kind of reprimand, with a non-judgmental attitude. And this is important. This is another essential. So far, you'll always have thoughts in meditation. Don't try too hard. Keep coming back without any reprimand. Be kind to yourself. And it doesn't matter how many times you have to start again. This is what I call a beginner's mind. This actually cultivates a beginner's mind in meditation, a mind free from preconceived notions. So you'll always start again. Always starting again. You can start again right now. You can start your life with every breath. So we'll start every time the mind drifts off to a story or an idea. You come back to the number one. It doesn't matter how many times you have to start over. Beginning with a beginner's mind, not having any expectations around the practice and what you should be experiencing. And the final essential is not to give up. I'm sitting here meditating with you, and I'll keep track of the time. So let's begin. You know, I'll guide you just a little bit in the beginning, and then we'll go into silence. Welcome this moment and gather yourself by closing your eyes and getting comfortable wherever you're seated. Some people do prefer to open their eyes slightly and gaze towards the floor. You can try this, or you can keep your eyes closed. Your hands could be rested on your lap or on your knees, in whatever position is comfortable. Welcome everything you hear. The sounds and the silence. Welcome everything you feel, everything you sense in your body. From pleasure to pain, to stillness and movement, from warmth and coolness. From heaviness to lightness. And give yourself, when you're ready, a slow, long, deep breath in and out. For the rest of this practice period, simply allow your breath to be natural and begin counting each breath. Counting each inhale as 1, as 2, as 3, right up to 10. Some people do prefer to count both the inhale and the exhale, but for this practice, let's simply count the inhale. And remember, whenever you notice your attention drifting away, bring it right back here sweetly. This practice is done in silence. It's like an internal chant that you're listening to. I'll keep track of the time and ring the bell every 10 minutes. The breath might get faster or slower. There's no need to concentrate or control it. Just let it be Let your counting be gentle. It's always important to take your time coming out of your meditation. Take a couple of minutes. Go slowly. Stay in your integrity. Don't go faster than you want to. Give yourself some deep breaths and stretch. And slowly, slowly, whenever you want to, you can open your eyes. But take your time. There's no rush. I've never ever come out of a meditation saying, gosh, I wish I hadn't have done that. I always feel better afterwards. And I hope you do too. Meditation, it only works if you do it. And the benefits really show up as you move from the seat of meditation into your life. So I hope you have a wonderful day. You bear witness to every feeling you have, every sensation, every emotion, being completely engaged, not making your emotions anyone else's problem, but simply acknowledging them for yourself without holding them down, and feeling your feelings, savoring your life. That's my wish for you today. Thank you so much for meditating with me. It's always a pleasure, and hopefully we'll do it again soon. Namaste.